afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner, joined by Tim Buckley. Tahisha Moyes will join us later in the show. As always, we are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world. Join our conversation this afternoon and stay connected by using our hashtag 4 to 5. It has been 3 years since the deadliest shooting in modern U.S. history. October 1st, 2017, 58 people were killed on the Las Vegas Strip while at a country concert. A court ruled yesterday that MGM Resorts International and insurers will have to pay more than $800 million to the victims and their families. That money will settle dozens of lawsuits. MGM will pay out $49 million. They claimed no liability for the shooting that not only killed those 58 people, but left 850 people hurt. Insurance companies will pay the remaining $751 million. An attorney for the plaintiffs says he is hopeful the money will start going out before the end of the year. Forsyth County Schools is voting on a re-entry plan tonight. If that plan is approved, students could be going back to classrooms as early as October 26th. Let's take a look now at Plan B. It creates a tiered return for both teachers and students. Pre-K through third grade students would go back for 4 days each week. Fourth and fifth graders would only go back 2 days a week. Students would be divided into cohorts in grades 6 through 12. You can find the full proposal in this story on our website. Now let's take a look at your 4 to 5 roundup. 2 Guilford County schools are closed again today because of coronavirus cases. Vandalia Elementary and Washington Montessori Elementary will reopen tomorrow. Each school reports 1 positive case of COVID-19. GCS says those schools were closed for cleaning. A judge agreed to let the Kentucky Attorney General's office have more time to release the grand jury recordings of the Breonna Taylor decision. They'll now have until Friday to redact any personal information from the tapes. The AG has acknowledged that he did not recommend murder charges to the grand jury. No police officers were directly charged for Taylor's death. She was shot and killed inside of her apartment after officers raided her home as part of a drug investigation. President Donald Trump signed a bill to fund the government through December 11th, avoiding a government shutdown when the new fiscal year starts. The bill was approved with bipartisan support on Wednesday. This will keep every federal agency running at current funding levels and keep the government afloat until after the election. An Ace Speedway will reopen next week after the state dismissed a temporary abatement order against them. That order was issued back in June by the state health department. It said the Speedway was in open defiance of Governor Cooper's executive order by having hundreds of people there when gatherings were at that time limited to 25 people. Ace Speedway says they are working with Alamance County Health Department to properly seat the total number of fans that will be allowed to attend. Well, other outdoor venues can also start to reopen. Once Phase 3 begins tomorrow at 5 p.m., Governor Cooper announces looser restrictions. So in his announcement yesterday, he said this will allow event venues, bars, and movie theaters, as well as outdoor amusement parks, all to reopen. Many of you are reacting to the new guidelines. WFMY News 2's Brian Bennett has been monitoring your comments. Brian, I'm interested to know how people feel about going into Phase 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of people feel differently. For the most part, when I was reading the comments, Maddie, some people think that it may be like a political agenda type thing. Some people are actually nervous to go into Phase 3, and other people are just like, it's about time. All right, so let's start off with Sylvia. She says, I feel it's too soon for Phase 3. I believe that it has to do with the election. Logan says, I'm glad fewer restrictions means some businesses can pick back up. While Debbie says, it's about time. See, I told you guys. And lastly, Lisa says, Cooper tried as long as he could keep us safe. People better get ready because COVID and the flu mix is going to take some more lives. And that was just in part. She went on to say school should not open till next year, but if people want to send their kids, let them. So the people have once again spoken, Maddie.
All right, Brian, thank you. You can find the full details of those new guidelines that go into effect tomorrow on our website, and keep chatting with us about this. Let us know how you feel about the changes. In the 4 to 5 live stream, you can find that on our Facebook page. Well, today marks the first day of flu season. Wake Forest Baptist Health's infectious disease expert, Dr. Christopher Ohl, says you can get the flu at the same time as coronavirus. But the good news is all of the things we're doing to reduce our chances of getting the coronavirus, I'm talking washing our hands, wearing masks, and social distancing, and they'll also cut down on our chances of getting the flu. There's more good news. There's an extra step we can take to prevent getting the flu that we don't have with the coronavirus.
There is one thing you can do to reduce the chances of getting flu that we can't do yet to reduce the chances of getting COVID, and that's getting a vaccination. We have flu vaccine. Flu vaccine's out. October 1 is the official start of flu season. This is when we really want to hammer into people. Time to get your flu shot.
Anyone 6 months old and older needs to get the flu shot. Now let's talk about symptoms of both viruses. Both coronavirus and the flu can lead to fevers, headaches, muscle aches, and a cough. But there are more symptoms of coronavirus. You're likely to experience shortness of breath and loss of taste or smell. But you don't want to rely on your symptoms for a diagnosis. Dr. Ohl says you can't really know until you get tested.
Well, being outside today, honestly, is just a pleasure and a treat. Maybe you've enjoyed some outdoor time. If you haven't yet, I would encourage you to do so because it is just that nice to be outdoors. Blue sky right now. Temperatures aren't too bad either, generally in the mid 70s. You see, hard to find any clouds across the region. We are at 76 in Greensboro. The humidity, not that bad. The dew points are in the 50s at this time. Over in Burlington, you're at the 80-degree mark as well with that blue sky. There are your current temperatures, generally in the mid and upper 70s locally, but we find the mountains in the 60s, and that is the start of some cooler air pushing back in our area. You see all these showers up there. They'll stay in the Great Lakes, but there is a little bit of an invisible cold front moving our way. I say invisible because there aren't any clouds or showers with it right now, but there will be at least a couple of sprinkles or light showers are possible for the evening. So yes, it could rain today before you go to bed. Just a couple of light showers, not a big problem. Heading into tomorrow, it's much cooler than today. Low 50s for the morning, mid 60s for the afternoon. We'll get that sunshine back out. We have a great 7-day for you and a great weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Police found a reportedly stolen Subaru Legacy that they say is part of a car break-ins investigation in High Point. High Point police say that car was found abandoned in Greensboro just after 7 p.m. last night. On Tuesday, officers responded to Pond Haven Drive in High Point for reports of car break-ins. An officer approached a person inside of a reportedly stolen Audi who refused to roll his window down. That person eventually rolled the window down and fired shots at the officer. The officer was not hurt in the shooting. One person was arrested in connection to the events, a 19-year-old from Durham, but police are still looking for 2 people. The car that they found last night has been towed away and is now being processed by a crime lab. An 18-year-old woman is charged with first-degree murder in Alamance County. According to the sheriff's office, Dasmond Crisp faces charges in connection with the death of Ryan Hogan. Hogan was found dead in a house in the Shady Grove Mobile Park at the beginning of September. Crisp was arrested yesterday. And Burlington police are still looking for the person who shot into a home yesterday afternoon. Police say the driver of this silver Honda Accord shot into a home on Plaid Street close to 5 p.m. Several people were inside of the house, but thankfully no one was hurt. We do not have a suspect description at this time, only the description of this car and the photo, so if you have any information, call police. And a North Carolina man used fictional characters from Game of Thrones as names for fake businesses in order to commit fraud. He's accused of submitting up to 14 loan applications for the Paycheck Protection Program. The U.S. Justice Department says Tristan Bishop Pan applied for more than $6 million in coronavirus relief, and he received close to $2 million, all for fake businesses. More of the 4 to 5 is coming up right after this break. Join our conversation on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We'll be back.
Okay, I was just told to flip my phone this way. This is how you want it? Dial into what? Flip it. That's how I had it. That's literally how I had my phone. Okay, you can't hear me? I'm talking. Can you hear me? Talking into what? Talking into what exactly? What? Where am I talking? Like,
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. The Carolina Panthers are coming back home to Bank of America Stadium this weekend with fans in attendance for the first time all season. But the process leading up to this point has taken more steps than you might think. WFMY News 2 sports anchor Luke Liddon shows us what it took to get fans back in the stands.
If you said about 6 or so months ago at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic that we would have a limited amount of fans attend NFL games for the 2020 season, I really don't think I believe you, but this is reality, and a lucky amount of you Panther fans out there will get to watch this year's team up close and personal this coming Sunday. 5,240 fans to be exact will fill these seats this weekend at 1 p.m. Although it is important to note this fan experience will be very different compared to years past. Not only will the Panthers put in place a number of enhanced safety and cleaning protocols, but the seating arrangements and social distancing requirements have drastically changed the dynamic to ensure ultimate fan safety.
So the way the seats are going to be manifested this season to promote social distancing is by using a pod system. We have pods that include anywhere from 1 to 5 seats. Each pod is separated by a minimum of 2 seats, and we've skipped a row between each pod in the bowl.
So there is definitely a lot more where that came from, and coming up at 5 o'clock, we will dig a little bit deeper into that fan experience, including the necessary concessions, of course, and the Panther fan store all inside Bank of America Stadium. That's coming up at 5 o'clock. I hope to see you then.
the Steelers and Titans will not play anytime this coming week. 2 more people affiliated with the Titans tested positive for coronavirus. Now, the NFL says 1 more player and a staff member tested positive. 5 players and 6 staff members for the Titans tested positive for the virus in all. Now, this is the NFL's first outbreak since the start of the season 3 weeks ago. The Tennessee Titans are suspending in-person activities until further notice. Their game against the Steelers, which was originally scheduled for Sunday, is now postponed until later in the season.
And Major League Baseball will allow fans at the World Series. More than 11,000 seats are available for fans at the Arlington, Texas stadium. Now, the stadium normally seats more than 40,000 people, so a bit of a cut down there. Globe Life Field is hosting the entire World Series to avoid teams traveling back and forth. Tickets are being sold in groups of 4 only, and each group will have to social distance from the next. No fans will be seated within 20 feet of a place where a player could be on the field, in the dugout, or in the bullpen. Tickets go on sale October 6th. More of the 4 to 5 is coming up right after this. As always, we are chatting with you during the breaks. Join the conversation on our Facebook page.
When something bad happens to you, most of us are faced with a decision. Let it win or fight through it and come out better on the other side. That's exactly what Navanya Jones did. She tells our Eric Chilton about starting her own nonprofit after surviving breast cancer 2 years ago and how that helped her make it through it.
Well, you know, my first question has to be, how did you come up with the idea to do this? I know you are a cancer survivor yourself, so how did this idea come around?
Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer myself back in 2018, and of course I felt like my world was falling apart, and I was looking for something to help me cope with anxiety without taking something medicinally. And I started planting as a result of that.
Were you a planter ahead of time? And is that how you got into this?
I was never a planter before this happened to me. Before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I really didn't know that much about flowers at all. But I was trying to think of something to keep my focus on life. And that's exactly what these plants do. So with the Pink Planter, the whole premise behind it is to encourage women to focus on something other than their current situation, such as the plants.
It is such a cool idea, I guess. So your takeaway from this, when you talk to people that you've helped, what do they say about this? How does this help them?
So imagine this, if you are a breast cancer patient or survivor, usually money is really tight. You're depressed, your anxiety may be getting the best of you. And then we come, just like a florist, with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Money's tight, your husband can't afford to send you a bouquet of flowers. So for us, this is just our way of giving back. When it comes to breast cancer, a lot of times it's summed up into 1 month, this month, October. But with the Pink Planter, we can celebrate these women every day. And that's basically the premise behind what we do. We want to celebrate these women every day to constantly remind them that this isn't the end and that, you know, we're still rooting for them on this side.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. Thank you for what you're doing, and really thank you on behalf of all the cancer patients out there you're helping.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it is some really great work that Navanya is doing. And I know my mother, she battled breast cancer almost 17 years ago now, Maddie, which is amazing in and of itself. And I know that when she was going through it, anytime someone would bring her a little gift, it always just put a smile on her face. So she didn't have to think about the situation and could just focus on something else.
Right, and we're so happy that your mom is such a fighter 17 years later. This is such a special month for so many people because it's a chance to share stories of hope and stories of survival and strength. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month, of course, kicks off today. I love what she's doing with the plants, Tahisha, because people in your family are so focused on making sure you're okay when you're battling breast cancer. They want to make sure all the doctor's appointments, they want updates and things of that nature. And it's easy for them to forget about little gifts like plants that can brighten your day. So I love that someone else is thinking about that and making sure that this can bring a smile to somebody's face.
And taking care of a plant is therapeutic in and of itself. So just being able to focus on that is nice, right?
Absolutely. Well, Tahisha has another story coming up to mark the first day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so stick around for that. More of the 4 to 5 is coming up next.
Former President Jimmy Carter is celebrating a big day today. He is turning 96 years old today. The 39th president of the United States recently endorsed Democratic nominee Joe Biden and said he supports absentee voting. Now, earlier this year, the former president encouraged wearing masks to fight the coronavirus. Shortly after his birthday last year, he experienced a fall, but it didn't stop him. He went on to help Habitat for Humanity in Nashville build a home. So a big happy birthday to President Carter.
All right, in honor of President Carter's birthday, our very own Eric Chilton asked you on Facebook, what is the secret to a long life? And here are some of your responses. We'll start here with Lynn, who said good health care. That's very serious. That's an answer from a guy with 3 great specialists keeping my numbers good. Good to hear, Lynn. Francine Apollo said good genes, good health care, good attitude. Elizabeth Watson said the secret to a long life is praying to God every day and happiness. Duncan and Terry Bryan said staying active and involved. Sally White said love and laugh and play. All that sounds like good advice to me, Tahisha. You know, every time we interview someone who marks a big milestone, like a 100th birthday or anything older than that, they always talk about having an alcoholic beverage every day. I'm just saying.
Right, like a Diet Coke or a beer every day, or I don't have kids, or I'm not married. But you know, no one wrote any of that. They actually wrote, you know, health and being happy. And I think really that is part of it, right? Because if you aren't healthy, you're stressed out. Stress can lead to a lot of different things. So it's just a lot of taking care of yourself, both inside and out.
Yeah, I like that. I know a lot of people who say just getting outside is good for the soul too, and today would be a perfect day to do that. Tim Buckley, it's beautiful out.
Yes, doctor approved, get outside, do what you like. You know, wasn't there a story about the Queen of England? She has like 2 martinis a day and like a wine, and she's doing great. Whatever works for you, right? That's what we need to figure out. A lot of sunshine today, and it is very comfortable to be outdoors. That cooler weather, well, it's going to be knocking on our door tonight. There's a second cold front. We had one the other day with bad storms. This one, not bad, but it still will cool us down in a pretty big way. Right now, we're in the 70s. Tomorrow, we'll be about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than that. Lots of sunshine. That will be a nice Friday, and we have a nice weekend. It just will be on the cool side. 40s for the mornings, 60s for the afternoons. I do want to let you know this evening, especially after 5 and 6 o'clock, we could see a couple of showers develop right along that cold front. Skipping ahead to the 7-day forecast, mid-60s for highs tomorrow, Saturday, and for Sunday. Those weekend mornings will be in the 40s, so a big chill to the air, a little warmer going into next week.
Hello. Hi. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
Marks the first.
Hey there, coming into the studio to talk with Miss Maddie. Hello to everyone on Facebook. Hopefully you're doing well today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm trying to. Tim, welcome in, my friend. Hello, Facebook. Hello, everyone. Mic check, mic check.
Doesn't the Queen drink a lot or something?
The Queen does have gin. She has gin every.
Hello, can you hear the guy in the background? They love to do work outside my apartment during 4 to 5.
good afternoon. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley is in the studio with me today. Hi, Taisha Moist live from home. Tim, I'm glad you're here because we have beautiful weather to talk about.
Yeah, I just realized I was like standing in front of Taisha. Isn't
that
that kind of strange? It's just weird how that works. Technology is silly. But yes, I'm happy to be here.
Don't stand in front of Taisha.
I know. One day we'll all be together in like real proximity, and that'll be great.
Yeah, it's been 6 months now.
It's been a little while.
It's a very long
Yes,
time.
it has.
Well, we are still connected because we have social media connected to each other and connected to you. So join our conversation on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Just use our hashtag 4 to 5.
All right, let's get you started with our 4 to 5 roundup. At least 40 people have died on the West Coast due to the wildfires. Now, they are still burning right now, and new evacuation orders are underway. 70,000 people were told to leave after 2 new wildfires. More than 5 million acres across California, Oregon, and Washington have burned, and so far 7,000 structures have been destroyed. The App State football game against Louisiana is now postponed because of positive COVID-19 cases. The teams were scheduled to play next week, but will now play in December. App says all active cases are isolated and contact tracing has been conducted. The Mountaineers are still scheduled to play Georgia Southern on Wednesday, October 14th. Amazon banned the sale of merchandise branded with the phrases "stand back" and "stand by" and displaying the insignia of the Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group. Shirts were listed on the site after President Trump said those phrases during Tuesday's debate. Individuals associated with the Proud Boys took the president's words as encouragement, and some began selling merchandise. A federal judge says a North Carolina elections board rule that made it easier for voters to fix mistakes on absentee ballots may violate a previous rule he made. Now, he wants the board to explain the changes to him. The elections board allows voters who cast mail-in ballots that do not have a witness signature on them to fix the problem by returning an affidavit, rather than starting over with a new ballot and having someone witness it again. But the judge says the new rule may conflict with the decision in August that upheld the need for a ballot witness.
The commission that oversees the presidential debates is making some changes after Tuesday night's debate, and one of the key changes that they plan to implement is cutting off the microphones of the candidates if they break the rules and talk over each other. The plans have not been finalized, and it's really not clear how they're going to carry out those plans, but I asked you on my Facebook page if you agreed with cutting off a candidate's microphone and if you'd make any more adjustments to the debate format. Let's take a look at what you had to say. Jeff Lockhart said, "I think that's a great idea, but they need more than 2 minutes to get their points across effectively." Bobby Odom says he thinks cutting off the microphones is a good idea as long as the person in charge of controlling the mics doesn't show favoritism toward one of the candidates. He says it should treat them both with respect. Emily said, "No, I don't think they should cut the mics. I think they'll favor one candidate over the other. Plus, it's a debate. Let them bat back and forth." And Deborah says, "No, I personally do not agree with shutting off the microphones. It will allow others to decide what we can and cannot hear when we're watching from home." Joe said, "No more debates. They are too painful for everyone. Let the VPs talk about the real issues." Misty Shores Gentry says, "Yes, I think turning off the mics is a good idea. I just hope it works." So, Taisha, after the debate on Tuesday night, my social media pages were full of people saying, "Give someone control of the microphone so we can hear what the other person has to say." But several people on my Facebook say that they're worried that they might show favoritism toward one candidate or the other if microphones are able to be controlled.
Yeah, and I can see where they're coming from, Maddie, because, I mean, they will have all the power, whoever is in control of it. But here's the thing. Both sides just need to be respectful. It shouldn't be a matter of someone having to turn off your mic or turn it back on. You have 2 minutes. You say your point. Let the other person say what they need to say. You don't need to keep jabbing in there every few seconds. Let them say what they need to say so that the American voters can make a decision on who to put in office come Election Day.
I think you're absolutely right. I think just trying to talk over each other, even if you disagree with what the other person is saying, it only does a disservice to the people watching who will ultimately decide who is in office. So I think we'll have to see what happens with these next 2 debates, if they actually do implement those changes. But they've never had to do anything like this before, so not sure how it's going to be implemented. Still, the lesson in all of this is we all need to get out and vote, no matter who we vote for. And NBA star Lebron James is making sure that there are people to work the polls. His voting rights organization recruited more than 10,000 people to work on Election Day. The More Than a Vote organization is recruiting poll workers as part of a We Got Next campaign. And that campaign focuses on recruiting mainly younger people. Now, to honor the thousands of new volunteers, the NBA will host them as virtual fans during one of the finals games. The campaign focuses on areas where poll worker shortages continue, including right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
So you have a few options when it comes on how you choose to vote, right? So I started the conversation on my Facebook page today and asked you, how do you plan to vote this year? So let's take a look at some of your comments today. Katie says, already voted by mail-in ballot, used the app to track it, and all went smoothly. Dakari says, in person, early, along with my family and anyone else needing to get there. Kenny says, took ours to the elections office. That is an option. If you have those mail-in ballots, can take it directly to the Board of Elections. Sharon says, in person on Election Day. Tamasha says, I will be doing early in-person voting and taking my daughter for her first ever voting. How exciting. Robin says, early voting in person. I want to get this over with. And Tracy says, in person, Election Day, like always. Now, I myself am more of an early voter. I like having a few days to get there just in case something comes up on Election Day. I want to be able to cast my vote, but I like going in person. I like the process of having the ballot there and filling it out that way.
Right, and as I'm sure you know, we're pretty busy on Election Day trying to cover the election. So early voting has always been the move for me, Tahisha. And now that we're officially in October, early voting starts any day now. And you can go to any polling site, and there's also that opportunity to register the same day as you vote if you haven't had a chance to register to vote yet. So I think early voting is great. I think that is absolutely what I'll be doing this year. You know, I'm excited to use a pen. You know, we're moving away from the electronic voting machines here in North Carolina this year, and I like the idea of physically bubbling in who I'm voting for.
It kind of takes you back to school, right? And have to fill the Scantrons to get your testing scores, but this one's just a little bit more important.
Yeah, and you get to keep the pin this year, which is great news.
Souvenir.
All right, Tim Buckley, update us about this weather.
Yeah, you gotta fill in the whole bubble. Otherwise it doesn't count, right? Hey, we have blue sky right now. Very nice weather. I think all of us would vote to keep this maybe a little while longer. It's in the 70s. It's very comfortable, and that fall weather is going to continue. It's a really nice time of year here in the Carolinas, as long as you can keep those tropical systems away, and that seems to be the case right now. Blue sky, picture perfect, hardly a cloud to be found in Greensboro at the moment. Temperature is 76 degrees, the dew point 56, so by measure it's a little more humid than yesterday, but it's not humid, let's be honest. We're fine here. Burlington, look at you, the flags, a little bit of a breeze going on at the moment. It's not a bad one, just a comfortable breeze. A little warmer in Alamance County at 80 degrees at the moment, and there are your temperatures across all of the Piedmont right now. 60s are showing up in the mountains, and there is a bit of a front. You can notice there are several showers in the Great Lakes and the Midwest part of our country, but zooming in closer to home, just on right on cue, right on schedule, we're finding a couple of showers right there along the Blue Ridge up in Virginia. I do think and I do expect that we will have a couple of scattered showers start to develop along a cold front as early as the next few hours. So after 5 and 6 o'clock, you might be able to encounter a little bit of rain, a couple clouds. That's what we'll be dealing with through the evening and into the overnight hours. I don't think any of us will pick up more than 1/10 of an inch of rain, so it's not a big deal, but it is something you may notice. It's mostly overnight because tomorrow that cold front will have passed by. Temperatures are in the 50s for the morning, mid-60s for the afternoon with a good amount of sun. It's just a really nice Friday. Cooler than today. We'll have a high of 67, so about 10 degrees cooler. And once that cool air moves in, it will be settling in for the upcoming weekend. Check it out, keeping those mid-60s in the forecast for your Saturday and for Sunday, then mid-40s for the mornings. And as we get into the end of next week, we have a chance to warm back up into the 70s, but the big theme is dry weather sticking around for a little while.
In North Carolina, there is about 245,000 people the IRS estimates are eligible for a $1,200 payment who haven't received it yet. So what do?
What do you do? Get this, AARP put together a state-by-state breakdown of people who are eligible but maybe missing out on the stimulus checks sent out months ago. And how many people? I mean, in North Carolina, we're talking 245,000.
Yes, so what's going on, Tanya?
Okay, so the IRS is now mailing out letters hoping to catch up with the 245,000 people who either don't know they're eligible or maybe don't know how to get their info to the IRS.
Right, and just to clarify, this is for the one and only stimulus payment that we've already received, or most of us have already received. It does not have anything to do with a possible second round of stimulus.
No, and I know lots of people are hoping for the second round. This
Right.
is from the one and only. The deadline to get your money is October the 15th. Okay, so don't wait to get the letter in the mail. Check out the Stu Wants to Know web story. We have the links to the IRS so that you can get your money. And yes, we even have a copy of the letter just in case you want to see it anyway. Okay, today is October 1st, and for a good portion of our viewing area, that means you can now be charged a late fee for not paying your water bill. When COVID began, there was a moratorium on water shutoffs and late fees, but that is no longer there. We have experts from Greensboro and Winston-Salem Forsyth County to give you the information that you need about your water bill, how to set up payment plans, and the new deadlines for shutoffs. You can text your questions to them, 336-379-5775. They're here starting by 5:30.
One in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime, and early detection is key for survival. Now, during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October, Cone Health holds their Women's Only 5K Walk and Run. Now, it's an inspiring event that helps raise money to support women on their breast cancer journeys. It's still going on this year. It looks a little bit different, but there are still ways that you can get involved.
One of Greensboro's longest standing events is now virtual, meaning you can complete the 28th annual Women's Only 5K Walk and Run wherever you want.
It's actually easier this year. The fact that it's virtual, you get to do the race on your own time.
The race officially started September 28th, but you have until Saturday, October 3rd to finish. Fran Reynolds finished her race the first day.
I wanted to just continue the spirit of what the women's only is, even by myself in my neighborhood. During my run, a lot of neighbors waved, a lot of neighbors gave a thumbs up.
Running this year by herself, she says, was profound and took her back to 2009 after she completed her first race as a breast cancer survivor.
That first race, when you're done with your treatment and you're coming through the whole track, you realize that you're carrying yourself this time, and while you're in treatment, your friends or your husband or your partner are carrying you.
Race entry fees help provide mammograms to women who can't afford them. They also fund Cone Health's Alight program, which helps with the everyday needs of breast cancer patients in treatment.
Until there's a cure for breast cancer, there's always going to be a need for financial support, parenting support, and education.
Now, we do have details on how you can register up on our website, and you have until Saturday, October 3rd at 4 p.m. to do so. Part of the instructions is you're going to download an app and you log your run as you do it. You can do it on the treadmill. You can go outside and enjoy the weather. But Maddie, this is one of my favorite events of the year. I am sad that I can't be there in person this year. There's just something about the power of women lifting women, right? Because there's usually 3,000 women that show up to this event, and the money is helping other women. So if you can do it from home, I say go and do it, because literally almost everyone is touched by breast cancer, either someone in your family or someone.
Absolutely, and it's so great to every year to see that sea of pink. We'll miss that this year, but we know that people are still walking and running to support this great cause. 5K, it's about 2 laps around Greensboro's Country Park. Very easy, and it's a beautiful day to get it done. So we have a couple of options just here in the Greensboro area for people to walk. And I know one of our directors, Angela Hare, she already completed her virtual 5K today.
So exciting. My mom's coming in on Saturday, so I'm so excited to see her. She has her Survivor shirt, and we're going to do the 5K then.
I love it. All right, well, if you are participating in the Women's Only, let us know. Join our conversation on Facebook. Use the hashtag 4to5. We'll see you there.
Hello, Miss Tasha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome back. It is time for another episode of the Drive-In Diaries. Yes, today we are going to the drive-in for something new. Of course, it is not a movie. Today it is bingo in Burlington. How's that for alliteration? Here's Eric Chilton's chat with Emily Crawley with the City of Burlington.
So Emily, I'm jealous. I might have to drive out there tonight. Let's talk about drive-in bingo. How did you guys get the idea for this?
Yeah, we've got some great local resources with other Parks and Rec agencies coming up with creative ideas. You're seeing some photos from our friends over in Greensboro who hosted a drive-in bingo event. So we're very much modeling off of them. We're excited to be able to provide a safe, fun environment for people in our community of all ages.
So tell me how this will work. How do people get involved, and then how will the game play out?
Yeah, so to make sure that we have enough space and to keep cars separated, registration is required. We do have a few spots left for this evening's drive-in bingo. Cars will park. We'll give everybody a bag with bingo cards, markers, and then we will call bingo numbers over an FM transmitter, so folks will hear those bingo numbers being called over their radio station.
Well, that's cool. They tune in to Bingo FM. Yeah, I like that. And then you said there are some prizes, right?
Yeah, we have a variety of prizes from local sponsors, some that have donated for events that we were supposed to host this year that we're finally getting to use, some gift cards to local restaurants, and then some other prize packages that have been put together for the traditional bingo that we would have had at our senior center this year, and then also at our youth center. So we're very excited to give some of these prizes away.
This is perfect. I love this. Great idea, and best of luck with this tonight. You'll have lots of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I love the idea of doing something in a drive-in. Hey, I've been trying to do it for 6 months now, and I haven't made it out to one yet. But you know what's really calling my name is the drive-in Carolina Classic Fair in Winston-Salem.
I was just going to say, if there's one that you need to go to, at least go to one that has some food.
But bingo is fun. I'm
Yes.
pretty good at bingo. When I volunteered at the hospital in Mount Airy, I always enjoyed leading the bingo tournaments.
The thing that gets me is, okay, so you do have bingo. Are you kind of waving your arms outside?
Honk
you know,
your horn.
Everyone's, oh, yeah. You do have a horn, okay. Yeah.
It's the only time it's acceptable to blow your horn.
Yes, when you win. What about if you have a question? You can't blow the horn. Otherwise, you're confusing
flash
people.
your lights. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll figure
We just have to go and figure it out.
That's right.
all.
It's happening tonight in Burlington.
Yes.
Oh, honking horns. People can get grumpy playing bingo, right? When the other person wins, boom, boom, boom. We'll see how that goes. Hey, our weather today, picture perfect, really nice. Just got in the climate numbers. Wanted to show you what the official high was. And we're looking at a time lapse. This is a movie. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. There's no clouds in the sky today. A couple bugs, it looks like. Low temperature was 51 officially. High temperature coming in at 77. That's just a couple of degrees above our average high. The average high to start October is 75. The average high by Halloween is more like in the low to mid 60s. So it is typically another month of change for us. Speaking of change, another cold front on the way. You see a few blips on the radar right there in southern Virginia. We too will have a couple of scattered showers developing for this evening in the next couple of hours. It's because of that front pushing by. Cool air, dry air comes in on the back side of that, and it'll be a cooler day of weather for tomorrow. I'm expecting highs only in the mid 60s, but it's still lots of sun, very nice fall weather. If you like fall, this is the kind of week that you wait all year for. It really will be nice. For tonight, well, there will be a couple showers around. Clouds will increase for a brief while as well. Most of this happens while we're sleeping, and honestly, it's just not much rain. Less than 1/10 of an inch at most for all of us. Lots of sun to go around for Friday. High temperatures in the mid 60s, and we'll keep it that way going into your weekend.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board votes tonight on a re-entry plan for teachers and students. How some parents are protesting before a final decision is made. That's next at 5.
is proposing. These parents got here earlier this afternoon, just about an hour before.
I'm on Zoom today. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Many of them are members of a Facebook group called Winston-Salem and surrounding areas. Let the
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thursday afternoon, everybody. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Callie. Am I going to see you getting donuts today? I mean, this weekend? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia.
It is time for my 2 cents. We're entering October, or the 7th month of the coronavirus pandemic in the United States. I'm tired of it. I bet you are too, and that's normal. Honestly, if you weren't tired of it, I'd be worried. But let me tell you what I am concerned about. Pandemic fatigue. Fatigue is different than being tired. I cannot get a great night's sleep and be tired in the morning, and yes, that's not a great feeling, but I'll just have another cup of coffee and I'll be okay. But fatigue comes with a list of side effects like headaches, muscle weakness, even impaired judgment. So we can be tired of the coronavirus, but we don't want that tiredness to turn into fatigue. Listen, I know it's fun to live life like the virus isn't around anymore. Maybe you want to push the boundaries a little bit because it's been almost 7 months and you are over it. But folks, we can't let our guard down. Just because you're tired of the pandemic doesn't mean it isn't still going on. And if we get to that level of pandemic fatigue, we could see serious side effects. More cases, more people in the hospital, more shutdowns, more people dying. It's not worth it. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Happening now, the Winston